Why Reacher Season 2 should abandon the source material and dumb action tropes. Following the incredible success from Season 1 of Prime Video's Reacher, there's been a ton of anticipation surrounding what the hit show's second season has in store for fans. Reacher's initial release was a triumphant one that saw it become one of the top 5 most streamed shows ever produced by Amazon Studios, and led to an almost immediate confirmation of a second season. That's no surprise given that Reacher is based on the globally popular character, Jack Reacher, who features in author Lee Child's novel franchise that spans 26 books and short stories to date. In light of this, the show has an amazing range of source material to draw inspiration from, a fact that has reputedly given its developer Nick Santora a variety of creative options to pursue in terms of storyline and plot adaptation. Season 1 of Reacher was packed with plenty of great action, a faithful story, and a lead character whose portrayal was almost universally endearing to fans and critics. That isn't to say that it was perfect, though. Some critics were aware of the fact that Lee Child's character does seem to want the best of both worlds. In that sense, not only is Reacher physically dominant and imposing in almost any setting, but also has a razor-sharp mind and mental acuity to match. The brawny and brainy angles of Jack Reacher in some ways feel dichotomous, since he can both figure out complex clues, form master plans, and solve highly intricate cases, while being a powerhouse that delivers on somewhat cliched action scenes too. The question that remains is where Season 2 and any subsequent seasons of Reacher that follow can take these tropes without them veering into territories that are just a little too far-fetched to be fun anymore. Fans and critics alike widely praised Season 1 of Reacher for being a faithful adaptation of the first book in the novel series, Killing Floor, as well as how aptly the main character was played by its lead actor, Alan Ritchson. Sporting a 6'5" frame packed with muscle and the kind of bulk that the Jack Reacher of the books was known for, Ritchson's casting as Reacher was far better received than Tom Cruise's was in the 2 Jack Reacher movies that predated the show. Despite this, some critics were a little skeptical about whether Ritchson and the show itself had enough depth to carry it over multiple seasons into a plot and universe that was expected to grow as successfully as the ones in the books did. While Season 1 of Reacher stuck to the plot of the book and even gave viewers peeks into the background story of Jack Reacher, the show's developers were faced with a choice of how best to continue this development. There was no doubt that Ritchson's portrayal of Reacher solved a glaring problem that Tom Cruise had in his own version of the character. While Cruise deftly captured Reacher's sometimes abrasive nature, coupled with his methodical intellect, physically, the veteran action star was simply too small to convincingly pull off a character that is often described in the books as being the most intimidating and physically imposing person in most rooms. In rectifying this inconsistency with the books, it's arguable that Reacher may have taken this aspect too far by straying into realms that focused more on Jack Reacher's physical prowess than his other formidable skills. Season 1 of Reacher was certainly punctuated by elements of hegemonic masculinity, which many fans loved, but this did also lend itself to the show often employing tropes reminiscent of Arnold Schwarzenegger's appeal during his most successful years as an action star. When Reacher premiered in early 2022, it was an instant hit. The Amazon Prime series, based on Lee Child's popular Jack Reacher novels, captivated audiences with its larger-than-life protagonist, portrayed by Alan Ritchson, and a solid balance of action, wit, and character depth. However, as fans anticipate the upcoming season, there's a growing case to be made for why Reacher Season 2 should abandon the source material and dumb action tropes. In a saturated market of action-packed shows, Reacher has the potential to redefine the genre by embracing more nuanced storytelling and complex character dynamics. 1. Avoiding repetition and predictability. One of the main reasons to veer away from the source material is that sticking too closely to it could result in repetitive narratives. The first season, based on Child's Killing Floor, offered a faithful adaptation that worked well to introduce audiences to Reacher's world. However, following the same formula where Reacher drifts into a town, encounters corruption, and uses brute force to restore order can quickly grow stale. Viewers appreciate action, but what keeps them coming back are new and compelling story arcs. By moving away from the rigid structure of the novels, Season 2 could delve into more unpredictable territory, taking Reacher into environments or situations that challenge both his physical prowess and emotional resilience. 2. Evolving Reacher's character beyond the tough guy stereotype. The first season succeeded in depicting Reacher as an unstoppable force, both in intellect and physicality, but there is a danger in relying too much on this characterization. Traditional action tropes have long been associated with an indestructible hero who uses violence as the ultimate solution to every problem. While Reacher does use violence effectively, this trope can feel one-dimensional, especially in a TV landscape filled with anti-heroes and morally complex protagonists. To make Reacher more engaging in the long run, Season 2 should explore his vulnerabilities, even if they aren't physical. For instance, what emotional scars does he carry from his military past? What are his personal stakes beyond just doing what's right? By breaking free from the stoic action hero mold, the show could tap into deeper psychological layers, offering audiences a more well-rounded character who grapples with moral ambiguity, loneliness, or loss. In recent years, series like The Mandalorian or The Witcher have demonstrated that while action is still central, character complexity and personal growth are what sustain long-term interest. If Reacher is to remain relevant and avoid becoming just another generic action series, Season 2 should take inspiration from these shows by allowing Reacher to evolve beyond the lone wolf cliché. 3. Broadening the scope beyond physical confrontation. Another issue with relying too heavily on action tropes is that it reduces the scope of Reacher's world to a series of physical confrontations. While the first season balanced the brute force with Reacher's investigative skills, there is ample room to elevate the intellectual side of his character. Reacher's intellect, observation skills, and ability to outwit opponents are as integral to his character as his fists. Yet action tropes often overshadow these qualities, placing more emphasis on brawls than brainwork. For Season 2 to stand out, it should lean into complex plotting, high-stakes mind games, and intricate schemes. Rather than another season of Reacher taking down corrupt officials or shady organizations with his fists, the show could focus on Reacher unraveling conspiracies or solving difficult puzzles that require strategy and ingenuity. This shift would not only make the action more meaningful, but also give audiences a break from the fight scene of the weak structure that plagues so many action shows. 4. Addressing social and ethical themes. While Reacher is inherently an escapist series, there's potential for it to explore more socially and ethically relevant themes without becoming preachy. Season 2 could use its platform to address real-world issues like military ethics, the justice system, or the human cost of violence in a more thoughtful way. In particular, the idea of a nomadic figure like Reacher acting as judge, jury, and executioner raises interesting questions about morality, vigilante justice, and authority. By engaging with these dilemmas, the series could evolve into something far richer than a standard action show. Abandoning the source material allows the writers to introduce new characters and settings that present Reacher with these dilemmas in ways that the novels might not have explored. Rather than another town mired in corruption, Season 2 could place Reacher in situations that force him to confront his own code of ethics, perhaps even questioning the righteousness of his own methods. 5. Creating a more diverse narrative world. Lastly, moving away from the action tropes that define the source material could open